Now, as the world continues to protest Israel's attack on Rafah, one simple message calling for attention has gone viral, but it may not be everything it seems. All eyes on Rafah. It's a plea shared more than 46 million times on social media. People around the world using their voice to urge continued focus on the crisis in southern Gaza.
Where should I take him? Tell me, where should I go?
Rafah, the supposed final safe haven for displaced Gazans, bombed, children killed, limbs dismembered, in what the Israeli PM described as a tragic mistake.
More than 80% of our structures were wiped out, destroyed either totally or partially, including hospitals, nurseries, healthcare.
With foreign media banned from Gaza, social media has played a crucial role in getting news out. But nothing has quite taken off like this meme, the All Eyes on Rafah slogan, which has become a rallying cry at protests around the world against a picture almost certainly generated by AI. The image showing symmetrical tents and snowy mountains that don't exist in Rafah is a far cry from the burning tent city and devastation on the ground. And for many, there's a grim irony in a message calling for eyes on Rafah, depicting a sanitised, shareable meme that avoids the reality of the horror. There's little doubting the sincerity of those who share it, frustrated by mixed messaging and a lack of action from their governments. AI images have flooded social media since the beginning of the conflict, even making their way onto news sites. But with so many real images out there, why bother to make fake ones? The obvious answer is that it's a way to ensure wider engagement, with people more willing to share an aesthetically pleasing picture than an upsetting photo of human suffering. But there could be something else happening here. This meme could be a clever way not just to engage social media, but thwart it.
And this precisely is possibly why this has gone so viral, because no violence is being portrayed. Posts which show graphic images tend to be restricted by platforms like Instagram, and by putting the text on the image itself, it can dodge any word detection moderation that these platforms may have.
So is this meme merely a distraction, a sanitised way to shield ourselves from the real horrors, or a savvy way of getting the message past both social media platforms and our own instinct to look away?
If you're on social media, there, I think, is a distinct impossibility that you could not have seen this image over the last 48 hours. I have to say, when I first saw it, it made me mad, because something like this being dispersed on such a mass scale, when photos, videos that we've just seen in that package of the horrors and the atrocities on the ground in Rafah don't get shared. And I think for it to be taking up so much space in this conversation, I was really annoyed at that. But then I also had to sit back and say, well, hang on a second. There was almost this then contented resignation that I was like, well, people who haven't been engaging or haven't wanted to engage, maybe they are now. And maybe this is the first step in them looking up what a ceasefire would actually mean.
Yeah, I think you kind of have to look at it in what is the greater good potentially in the message being shared. And I first saw it, I at no point thought it was like a real image, but maybe that's because I'm surrounded. Some people did. And I think people have been searching it online. But I think maybe the greater good is that people are becoming more aware about it, and they might not have... People want to click through when they see images that make them feel uncomfortable sometimes. So maybe if people are engaging, ultimately, it's better for the situation.
Well, here's my question, though. And this is an open question, I don't know. Are they engaging?
This is
yeah, well, it's hard to even know.
Well, you guys are on social media more than I am.
Yeah, so when you get the option to click to share, right? And I don't think that that's engagement. And I think we need to be careful that we don't conflate clicking and sharing something, an AI-generated picture, with engagement. True engagement involves understanding what's happening on the ground, leaning into the atrocity. Like, to see images like we just saw of babies screaming, children screaming, it is awful. That's engagement, when you understand what it's about. Now, it's difficult. It's a difficult situation to understand, and there are high passions on all sides. But I have a real problem with this idea that clicking on something is engaging, unless you're prepared to do something else.
Well, this is the first step. I have a faith that potentially for some people, this is their way into
But is this like the black tile for Black Lives Matter.
There's a lot of similarities.
Okay, so would you say in that case that it was engagement, or would you say in that case that it was performance?
Well, so I think there's elements of performance, obviously, but I think you could, the sheer mass in both situations of people that shared it, you'd have to think people that might have shared it initially or weren't properly engaged. They might have been doing it for show or whatever image they want to portray into the world. But some probably have engaged and have changed. So I think ultimately,
so you don't think
could be
displacing?
My concern is that when it comes to something like this and when it is spread so widely, is that you then have people criticise people, be like, I've not seen you post that, therefore you must mean
that's
this, therefore
happening
you
right
believe
now with this
and then
image.
you're taking the narrative once again, and no eyes are on Rafah.
It's a completely different situation.